Oh my goodness. I love that, pal. Hola, mi gente. How's everybody doing today, November 1st, Sunday, October? I had a great Halloween. I got to see both my grandchildren. It was fun. Weird because it was a totally different vibe, which I'm sure everybody experienced. Lots of houses that normally would have been involved with the Halloween festivities. The towns were very, very strict, at least in Bergen County, about not about enforcing not folks not congregating and making sure that people socially distanced and remained safe through the holiday. So it was great. We had a fun time, and it is November. Welcome November 1st. Yeah, we know what's coming. Changes in the air, right? It's the fall. It's supposed to happen. The leaves are turning. It's beautiful. I love my town in the fall. But the thing is that in a couple of days, we may have to take some red places on this map and turn them blue. That's the color of this fall. Never mind red, orange, yellow. They're beautiful, but what we need are blue. We need charge. That's what we have to do. We got to charge, move forward, and get it done. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We're 2 days short of the election. In my lifetime, there is no election that has been as meaningful as this. And I have been very clear. If you've been listening to my podcast and you know me, you know I'm not a Democrat. I'm not. I've never called myself a Democrat. What I've always been is an activist and una rebelde y una freca because I was always going to D.C. and I got arrested for my politics. That's right, make your arrests meaningful. The first time was about fighting the raids in the transit fare back in 1980 from 75 to 90. I got arrested on the D line on the Church Avenue station protesting, right? You should always make your arrests meaningful. That's why the second time I got arrested, it was for beating the shit out of a babysitter. But anyway, that was meaningful too. But so listen, the point is, I'm no Democrat, okay? I've always said this. I tend to lean independent. I like to think of myself as a cinemist. And I know that's weird, but I'm a cynic because I know how the system works. And I understand that capitalism just poops on everything. But I'm an optimist. I'm not that cynical that I don't have some hope in my heart. I'm a very positive, I try to be a positive person. I look at that cup as half full. I'm not thinking about it as half empty. This is a half full cup. And like I tell everybody, my life is just starting now, so I'm an optimistic person. But it's just an odd time, and I feel like with this election, it's so much more important about making the corrections that we need to make, okay? I only voted for the first time in 2004 because I wanted to make a correction with what was going on with all the nonsense with Bush and the war and everything that I felt so strongly about. And I do have a lot of cynicism about voting, but on the other hand, I saw what happened in 2018 where that house got flipped and the Democrats were able to get it back. So I am aligning myself more with like traditional political activity. And I know there's a lot of people like, oh my God, wasn't she like a little radical? Obrero, unido. I get all that. But, you go from being a protester to an investor, it changes your dynamics a little bit. But like I've always said, if the tanks come rolling up the block, I know what side I will be on. I just want to say one thing. I have been wearing Invisaligns for 2 years now. I just got my retainer, and yes, that is metal that you see in my mouth. Yeah, I got some funky ass metal in my mouth, but they did such a great job that I'm gonna finish it off. And I just told the doctor that I feel like going to the backyard of a junior high school. I feel like I'm 15 and I should be making out with my boyfriend or whatever. It makes it weird, so I just feel a little bit. If I sound a little strange, I'm still getting used to them. The main thing is that I brought up Halloween because, I saw monsters and I saw all kinds of crazy stuff. Last night I saw this crazy film called His Home, very creepy stuff. But all I kept thinking about, and I looked at my man and I said, you know something, honey? There's no monster greater than what's sitting in the office of the president right now. That is the creepiest monster that I have ever encountered. Like, forget Godzilla, forget Bela Lugosi, the werewolf, Frankenstein. This is a monster we have right now. You know, someone that just lies right in your face. And you just, I just finished teaching my students the fable of the boy that cried wolf. The moral of that story is no one believes a liar, even when they're telling the truth. So here we are. We're at a crossroads now. We have this major election coming up, and there are so many people that are still sort of on the fence about it. And that's the part I don't understand. When I see these commercials and they're so stupid, que si Trump, 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 and it's like salsa, and they're appealing to the Latino community with these dumbass commercials, like as long as there's music and there's a dance involved, they'll vote for us. Guys, this man has been lying since March. We are only just now realizing and in print finding out that there was never a plan. We have been lied to from the beginning. The president who was supposed to lead would have had a plan, and the plan, I remember the beginning always going, where's the plan? What's going on? Remember, we got back from being in Puerto Rico, and we're like, hold on, but they're not saying anything. There's no testing. They're not getting PPE out. They're not using the Defense Act to get more production of these materials that we need to stay safe, to keep the doctors safe in the hospitals. The plan was always to do herd immunity. So they had us going nuts with this lockdown and wearing the masks and being in home and being scared. Meanwhile, these motherfuckers knew all along that they were always just gonna let this shit run through the country. They always knew it was on the West Coast, it was on the East Coast, it could have been contained there. But no, they were not gonna be happy until that shit got all the way to where it is now. So yeah, they always knew. So now, evictions, people without work. I work in Newark still during the day as a speech therapist, and I see them handing food out to people in the neighborhood because people don't have food. People are suffering from not having enough food to feed their kids. He's destroyed the economy. He destroyed our standing internationally, and he has made us, the monster has made us less safe. You know, that level of he's so diabolical, man. That was like a scheme that I couldn't have even thought up. You know who wouldn't have thought that scheme up? Lex Luthor. Even Lex Luthor is not as evil. Yo, he had nothing on this monster that's in the White House. And I always loved Lex Luthor because I thought his plan to like blow up Arizona and then throw California to the water. Like, I always loved that story. But, you know, it's amazing to me. And it's amazing to me, baby, that people still support him. His supporters to me are the ones that are I think of his supporters as the people who just never got over the fact that they lost the Civil War. Like, that's how far back that deep-seated hatred and racism is. It's been passed down from generation to generation, which is why they don't want to get rid of their symbols. They don't want to get rid of their flags. They're still sore losers. And it's like they are so afraid of anybody taking power away from them because they know karma's a bitch. But I don't think anybody's talking about that, right? Everybody just wants a fair shot at equality and not having to be afraid of getting shot at by a cop because you're black. I mean, that's really what we're talking about, you know? So, so the people who support him are either the ones that are just pissed off about the Civil War, and then the black and the brown people that defend him are the ones that I think are denying history. Like, are you not looking at history and seeing that, you know, slavery, it's not that far removed from where we are now. It's like you just want to act like this was not a country built on the annihilation of an entire group of people that were originally here, and then they brought other people here and enslaved them. Like, how are we supposed to forget that history and not think that people still don't feel that way? You know, and unfortunately, black and brown people in this country want to act like we've moved on when we haven't. You know, now if you're black and you're brown, you're important, and they can put up with you more if you're rich and you're famous. That's why people like 50 Cent and Lil Wayne, you know, they have the money, right? These fools that are backing up Trump because it's going to mean that they have to pay more taxes. And Biden's saying, no. That's what I was saying before. I'm not a Democrat, but we need to make corrections. And if there's a man who's coming forward with a plan to tax people that are making over $400,000 and getting some of that wealth back into the system, Because all this monster has done is made sure that the wealthy are even wealthier now. I mean, if you look at the money that they have made since this pandemic started, since this administration started, they're richer than they've ever been.
Yeah, but Trump is saying that everyone's going to pay more taxes
No.
when Biden.
No, only if you make 400,000 and up. Because right now there is a huge concentration of money at the top. That's the plan. That's always been the plan with this administration. Take as much as you can, hoard it, put it away on islands that, in accounts in other countries, and that money does not trickle down the way it was supposed to trickle down. So now what are we supposed to do? That money is gone. That is generational wealth that will be gone, and it will not be available to people unless that is stopped now. 4 more years of this man is going to mean that there is not going to be any Social Security. He's going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. I mean, where are people supposed to now go when they have pre-existing conditions? And if you're one of those people that got hit by COVID, trust me, you're going to have, that's a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, but Trump has a plan.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he said he has a medical plan.
You're right. He has a medical plan, a book that they handed to Leslie Stahl that was just a whole bunch of executive orders. There was nothing in there that was a health care plan. So all that showmanship, that's that shit that was The Apprentice. It's the Wizard of Oz. It's fake, guys. None of that is real. The man is in so much debt. He may have properties, but when they get to it, why is he not releasing his taxes? Because we're going to find out who are the players that lent him all that money. We're going to find out about all of that, those apartments being that money laundering. This man is such a criminal. Anyway, the point is, as black and brown people, we are not taught our worth. We are never taught our worth. The only black and brown people that have any value in this country are the ones that are acting like, oh, we've made it and all this other stuff. So they got their trinkets and they got their baubles and they got their cars and they've got their Instagram followers. That's who has wealth in this country. That's the part I don't understand. Only the rich and famous have wealth in this country. They have the trinkets. They have some value that way. But whatever happened to educators?
But the platinum plan was coming.
Yeah, platinum plan my ass.
No,
there
really.
is, I know.
Give every African American $5,000.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's gonna really do a lot. What happened to the black and brown clerks, the educators, the gas station attendants, the cleaners, social workers, the landscapers, the child care providers, the small business owners, the medical techs? They don't have any value. They don't count in this system because they don't produce what they do, right? It's their work that makes the whole system run. The rich keep so much of it and they don't want to give anybody what they're truly worth. That's the part that kills me about this system. People don't get their value. We're not taught what we're worth, and we certainly don't get what we're worth. And a lot of people fall for the nationalism. So if somebody's black, you follow them because they're black. I don't particularly agree with a lot of what Kamala Harris did when she was a prosecutor and a DA. I don't. And I don't particularly believe that necessarily because she's a black woman, I should vote for her. But I do respect a lot of what she represents as a child of a single immigrant mom. She's worked harder. I know that black women have to work harder, to get to where she is. So I have a lot of respect for her in that way, But if she was someone like a Candace Owens does not represent the true value of and the true needs of blacks in this country. So it's like, don't fall for that thing of like, oh, well, because he's black, I have to vote for him. That's not why you should vote for Kamala Harris. You should vote for the fact that she is representing change. I do believe she's pretty, I think she's pretty clear about supporting these policies that Biden is putting forth. So I'm not, I think nationalism is a scary concept and we have to be careful of that as well. But it is time to make history. It's time to make history, man. We can have a black vice president. Holy cow. And then maybe 2024, we have our first Puerto Rican OAC. 2024. She might be too left for everybody. AOC, and that's another thing. It's Alexandria Ocasio. Let's Cortez. Let's give her whole name, right? So and then how about just poor blacks and Latinos that defend the president? Okay, and defend the rich. They're like, oh my God, but I have never understood that. Like the rich really give two shits about poor people in this
but
country.
he's got $75 billion plan for Puerto Rico now. 2
Oh
weeks
yeah,
before
let's
the
not
election.
even. Yeah, right. Let's. Yeah, he made.
No, really, that's what he said.
Yeah,
he made
right.
him some promise.
The law and order president. You know law and order what that stands for, papi.
Puerto Ricans and Cubans are backing on with that plan now.
I know. They don't understand. Law and order. The law and order president. What does that mean? Keeping black and brown people in their place.
Right, but not Latinos.
I know. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, right. Maybe the light-skinned ones think they're going to get away with it. Law and order president. All he's talking about is keeping black and brown people in their place.
Right, but
we
not
all
Latinos.
know that's what. Yeah, right. Because, look, we know that there's some good cops. But I do believe that there's a lot of white supremacists that are in police departments. And when they get that opportunity and they have a black person talking back to them or telling them what their rights are or speaking on why they shouldn't be stopped and pulled over, that's it. Nidito, that's it. So, yeah, we have to really, I feel like we've gone full circle, babe. It feels like we're back. We're back at 2016. I hit the mic. It feels like we're back. It feels like I feel worse off. We were doing much better before the pandemic. We were ready to our businesses were like, holy cow, this is the next level. And now we're right back to starting all over again. And we're doing better than a whole lot of people are doing right now. And I know that for a fact. But I feel like we've gone full circle, people. That's what I'm feeling right now. There's no COVID relief plan. So if you vote for Trump, you're basically voting for herd immunity. You're going to let this disease run through the country and there's not going to be any change. The economy will not improve until we get this COVID under control. And that's a fact. They're going to shut down Newark real soon. They're going to start shutting shit down. We just can't allow this to go forward without a plan in place, without a testing plan, without a plan for supporting the schools.
But he's got a new plan coming out in a couple of weeks.
Okay, well, yeah, take it, and I have a bridge to show you. Yeah. I mean, when someone goes on TV and goes, COVID, 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 I was like, man, how do you Jan Brady this anymore? Like, that's all. I was just picturing her in the back. Marcia. He's so juvenile. Like, it's so immature for him to be doing that. And at a time when people are so scared and unsure, you have a group of people that know it's not. Most people do believe that he fucked up the COVID plan, the response. I think it's like 63%, 65% of people polled believe that he botched it. I mean, anybody who wants to believe that he didn't, most people do. So you can believe whatever you want, but these are the policies that he has in place right now. No COVID plan. I don't know if anybody knows. He tried unsuccessfully. A federal judge did not allow it. The man was ready to cut 700,000 unemployed people were going to lose or have slash cuts to their food stamps. Like, pay attention to this. This is the stuff that's going on right now. And he's going after Social Security. He's been going after Social Security. Oh, we're going to do a payroll tax holiday. Right. That's what feeds into Social Security. So, yeah, he's just playing games. He's playing word games. He thinks people are as stupid as he is.
There are a lot of people who feed into it.
I know.
His major fan base.
And those are the ones that are going to vote for him.
That's
exactly.
Right.
The people who are not going to vote for him are the ones who are going to study this and understand that these are serious cutbacks. He's been trying to do this from the beginning. Stacking the courts. Federal courts are stocked with his people. Now we have a 6-3 conservative majority in the Supreme Court. So these are the things. This is the future that is facing us for the next 4 years. And then it just kills me because Social Security, man, it's going to dry up. His businesses, hello, shall we talk about the corruption in the White House? His businesses have made over $8 million. Now, it's probably a lot more than that, but just in terms of what the taxpayers are paying to his businesses. Because when he does a lot of these meetings and these conferences, sometimes it's easier to just stay at another hotel near the facility. No, dumbass makes everybody go hundreds of miles away so that he could bill for them to stay at his resorts. So now the taxpayer is paying the president to stay at his private resorts. And people are complaining about it, but because no one's got the teeth to go after it right now. $8 million from taxpayers, which is why it kills me that in his desperation, he's trying so hard to make Biden look like the corrupt person. When we all know, listen, there may have been some shady shit. It hasn't been corroborated. It cannot be. There's no proof that it happened.
Well, just like his daughter.
Oh my God!
With the patents, there's no proof.
Every single time at the debates, whenever he brought up Hunter Biden, I'm screaming at the TV, going, "What about Ivanka? When are you gonna go after his kids?" And the nepotism that goes on in the White House right now, they have made hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're advisors with questionable security clearances. No experience. They are the most criminal group, the most criminal administration we have ever had, ever. The man has 15 federal charges waiting for him in New York State. At least six of his high-level advisors have been convicted, are doing time. I mean, I haven't really heard that about anybody since like Nixon. And this makes Nixon look like, really? That's what you call a scandal? Really? It's disgusting. He's opened 9.3 million acres of rainforest in Alaska for development. I didn't even know there was rainforest. I thought it'd be like ice forest in Alaska. But that's what it said. So the campaign to me is just proof positive that we are going to have 4 more years of the same, if not worse. He's back to calling immigrants rapists that come from Mexico and Central and South America. He's back to calling them murderers. Do you remember that in the beginning?
Well, he spoke to the president of Puerto Rico, too.
Oh, please. I'm saving Puerto Rico for last. Yeah. And now every time he brings up Obama, I don't know if anybody's noticed, he manages to always get a Hussein in, and he'll go, Hussein Obama. Like, he's just a juvenile. Like, we're supposed to go, oh my God, that's right, he's a Muslim. So what if he was? Mispronouncing Kamala. He calls her angry, nasty. I mean, the vitriol that he saves for women and women of color. Guys, if you were a woman of color and you vote for Trump, man, I just don't understand it. How about just stranding his supporters in the cold and the heat?
I gotta get a laugh.
Let me tell you something. I am not a heartless person. But we were both sitting there going, coge, zángano, te cogieron de zángano. Dumbasses. Imagine after all that rah, and then it got real cold. And over there, zángano. And then in the heat too. In the places where it was cold, and then he went to Florida and left people in the heat, people were passing out. He doesn't pay federal taxes and had, did you know this? $270 million in loans forgiven. And the man won't even consider forgiving student loan debt. $270 million, motherfucker. And now, the best part to me, I'm going to pledge Puerto Rico $13 billion. We're not going to see that money. He didn't want to give it to us before. Now, magically, 2 weeks before the election, he's offering $13 billion to Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. And who wants 4 more years of Pence? Pence. Take a good look at that man. I don't think that there's anything behind those eyes. Doesn't he look like he has metal in his head somewhere? Like he got harvested in a lab somewhere. He's so creepy. I like Kamala for vice president. And this voter suppression. I mean, let's face it, the situation with the post office. And I read yesterday, 63%, the early voting tallies surpassed 9 million, which is already over 65% of all the votes from 2016. Isn't that amazing? Okay, because people came out and said, no, you're going to play this little trick with the postal service and hiding. And in Texas, remember, you have to go to in one county, there's one place. People have to drive 50 and 60 and 70 miles to go vote. So with this voter election, Democrats were like, you know what? I see what you're doing. My votes are going to count. You are not going to discount me. So I want to just play something that I want to show so that Puerto Ricans understand what is happening right now.
This is Mark Anthony. Our island and our people have suffered from natural disasters, COVID, and a wrecked economy. We have also suffered from another disaster, a president who treats Puerto Ricans with insults and contempt, who withholds aid and laughs at our suffering.
I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack.
Who jokes he should sell our island.
Puerto Rico.
Who treats us as if we're not American citizens who have fought and bled for this country. But Puerto Ricans came together to rebuild because we are strong and resilient. Puerto Ricans deserve better than Trump because we are better than Trump. Better than this contempt.
Speak English.
Better than his neglect.
I'm the best thing that ever happened to Puerto Rico.
Better than his lies.
Puerto Rico was an incredible, unsung success.
On November 3rd, Puerto Ricans will send Trump a clear message. We remember the lies. We remember the disrespect. We remember you left too many of us to die. This is Mark Anthony, and I urge all of you to join me and vote him out.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Mi gente, remember those 3 words. Vote him out. That's really all I have to say today. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for listening. Remember Freak of Nature, Latin Diva Comedy, and please, 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 Latin Diva Comedy on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. I'm on TikTok now.